Good afternoon, dear televiewers. My name is Regina Mbafor. I'm a retired teacher. I'm a mother. Of course, I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a pastor. I'm a marriage counselor. Today is the World Education Day, and we are supposed to be talking about education. What is education? Education is the transfer of values. Education is a learning process where knowledge is acquired, skills acquired, and education is the development of skills. It is the acquisition of knowledge, the development of aptitudes, and because of this we have formal education, informal education. This means that education must be seen from different angles: parental transfer of values, intellectual, that is from the school angle, scholarly, schools transferring knowledge, skills, and aptitude to students, societal or community, where the society or the community takes responsibility to transfer values and skills to the people of the society, religious education, where the church takes responsibility for the transfer of moral values, for the transfer of even intellectual and social values, and then self-education, where a person decides to develop themselves, to acquire skills for themselves, to develop their aptitudes, and to acquire knowledge. Therefore, education should not be seen only as acquired from the four walls of a classroom or from a campus. I cannot pretend that this definition is exhaustive. Other people may view education from different angles, and it will still be contributing to what is education. And who should take responsibility for transferring values or instilling knowledge to children, to the society, to women, to men? Who should take responsibility? I would say that first responsibility falls to the parents with children. First of all, the Bible already gives them the responsibility when in Proverbs 22 verse 6 it says, "Train up a child the way it should grow. When he is grown, he will not depart from that." God gives responsibility, the responsibility of educating the children to the parents. Any parent, father, mother, who fails to transfer values, knowledge to their children are failures. They have failed, and they are a disappointment, and they have failed God, the giver of children. Because when God gives you children, He gives you the responsibility to educate those children. The responsibility is not first to the church or to the schools or to educate the children. The children go to school for a few hours, but most of the time the children are with their parents, or are supposed to be with their parents. The first few years of the child are spent with the parents. That's why the Bible says, train them up in the way they should grow. So the responsibility is first of all to the parents. It's parental responsibility to educate their children. You see some children, by the time they go to school, they are already wild because the parents failed. You see other children, by the time they go to school, they are so well behaved, they already demonstrate some knowledge, some moral standards, because the parents were intentional in educating their children. So parents, it is first of all our responsibility as parents to educate our children. I'm speaking from this angle as a mother and as educator, because I was a teacher for 18 years, a classroom teacher for 18 years before I left the classroom. And I always told my children, I'm here first of all as a mother before being an instructor from the intellectual point of view. So I have a responsibility to correct what is not right in a child. I don't see myself just as holding a book and transferring the knowledge that's in the book to the children. So it is parental responsibility. Then, when the children go to school, it is the responsibility of the institution to make sure that they transfer the right values and correct knowledge to the children. Then it is also the responsibility of the society to put in place values that channel the children who are growing up in that society to make sure that they have the right moral standards, they have the right attitude, the right behavior. When you say children littering, they are not educated. The society has not educated the people to make sure that they are not littering, they are not throwing garbage. You see our streets are all littered, papers, plastic bags and all those things. The society has not taken their responsibility. They have failed. The leaders of our societies should make sure, leaders of our communities should make sure that they put in place those guidelines that educate people as to the societal behavior, how they should behave in the society. Because that has failed, we see that we have dirty cities. Our streets are dirty. Even when you come to the garbage heap, the containers are put there, but people come and throw their garbage on the road or on the floor, and the containers are empty. There's failure in that at that level. So the responsibility is actually shared between parents, school, church, society. And we see that at that level there's a lot of failure and there's a lot to be corrected and addressed. How to treat kids with low IQ? First of all, I would say that the parents are responsible here primarily, because when you discover that a child has low IQ, it is the parents' responsibility to make sure that that child develops some self-confidence, because there's that child that is supposed to have low IQ by the international standards of measurement. That child, if you observe that child, she has some aptitudes, some capabilities, some inborn qualities that can be developed if that child is properly trained, if that child is observed and followed up. I know of the case of this boy. I read in an international journal. This boy was born with Down syndrome, but the parents quickly discovered as the child was growing up that she had some aptitudes towards sports, and they helped the child to develop a particular sport skills in some particular domain. And this child finally went to the Olympic Games and won a medal. And I would say for such a parent, cheers. And many parents should observe their children. All the children are not born with the same IQ level. Some children have a high IQ, others have low. First, no comparison. Parents should not make a comparison that speaks down on the children that have low IQ. Actually, they should encourage them, help them to develop that which is in them, so that they can also explode, they can also pull out that which is in them and become maybe even more useful than those who have intellectual capacities because of that which is innate in them. So I think that the children who have or supposedly have a low IQ are not useless. They have something to contribute. They just have to be observed and then help to bring out what they have, to develop them with the help of their parents. And then when they go to school, the attention of the teacher should be drawn that this child may not understand mathematics very rapidly, may not understand English or writing or be able to write as fast as others, but please, this child has this strength that needs to be capitalized on and developed. And you see that such children, I think that in the developed countries, that is really really advanced, because there's no child that is useless. They always encourage those children to bring out what they have, develop them, and make use of them. With regards to whether there should be gender discrimination in terms of education, I would say there should be no gender discrimination. Boys and girls should be sent to school and educated with regards to the formal education. Secondly, when we look at the other definitions of education, where there's self-education, there's societal education, there's parental education, there's community education, nobody is actually excluded. Therefore, with intentionality, people should educate themselves, formally and informally. And with regards to formal education, the idea that used to be in the past that girls should not be sent to school, that is wrong. Girls should be sent to school. And usually even we know what it is generally said that what a man can do, a woman can even do better. So there should be no gender discrimination. To me, in formal education, to exclude any gender is criminal. It should not be allowed. It should not even be tolerated. With informal education, nobody should exclude themselves. Women, do not exclude yourself. Girls, do not exclude yourself. Educate yourself, upgrade yourself, train yourself. Today there's the possibility of being educated on internet, self-education. You just get yourself educated. When you need help, look for help. If you are in school, do not feel like you are a second-class citizen. You are going to school to learn, and learn you should. And with the evolution of technology, rapid technological evolution, I think that people should be deliberate and intentional to upgrade themselves. Today with internet, you can train yourself, you can learn, you can develop yourself in any domain that you want. So nobody should look down on themselves, nobody should exclude themselves, nobody should think that they are not able. Everybody is able. And here I want to talk particularly to ladies, to women, to girls. I've observed in many homes where women are like, I was born before computer, therefore I should depend on my children to help me do this. I cannot do this. I don't know how to use this app on my phone. You are calling, come and help me. Come and put this app on my phone. Today, nobody should be doing that. Today, people should develop themselves. Women, let us develop ourselves. Let us upgrade ourselves. Let us learn and catch up. And we can catch up with the running technology. We can also run and catch up with the technology. And generally, I would say everybody should know that if you don't do something deliberately and with intentionality, you will lag behind. With regards to children at school, I think our societies, our schools, our institutions should always have in mind that the world is going very rapidly in the domain of technology. I know that in the Western culture, many children do assignments on internet, on computers, on their phones. Parents should also know that a lot of education takes place on the internet. That is a bit tricky also because there are also very many terrible things that children could learn on the internet. So parents should be deliberate and observant. They should check what their children are learning on the internet. It should be something that enhances their positive education, and they should put limits. They should put a time limit as to screen time, and follow them up to make sure that what they are using their screen for is what is developing them positively and making them more useful to the society. We see many of these horror things that children are now doing in schools. There are things that they have learned on the internet when they were not followed up by their parents or by the teachers. I also want to say that our governments should also be intentional in that domain to get children in schools have personal laptops or computers where they develop themselves to catch up with the technology advancements. With regards to unemployment, what do we do with children who have gone to school, they have certificates, they have big diplomas, and they end up not having a job? I think that more and more we should get our children, we should get our youths, we should get the society to see education as not just ending in a white-collar job, not just ending as an employee to some employer of a big company or the government. More and more we should get our children see that they can be educated and educate themselves to end up self-employed. I know many people who obtained degrees, diplomas, and never ever went back to their universities or institutions to collect those diplomas, because by the time they were getting out of school, they had already developed projects. They had their projects on how to be self-employed, and they start their own companies and even become employers themselves. So our children should be trained and educated not to see education, formal education or informal education, as just ending with acquiring a job. They should see it as a means of employing themselves. More and more, the governments are not employing children. They are not employing diplomats, people with diplomas. So we should make our children, the society should help our children understand, parents should help the children understand, even churches should help the children understand, help the people understand that education does not mean getting a white-collar job. It means you can create, you can be creative, you can develop your projects, you can and get your funding and start off something for yourself. That is even more gratifying. It brings more fulfillment when you have finished your education, you have a certificate, you have a diploma, you have skills that you have acquired, knowledge that you have acquired, and now you invest them to be a self-employed person. As a minister of God, as a pastor, what is my view with regards to education? First of all, I want to say God is the first educator. By giving us the Bible, if you read the Bible, you see that there's a lot of education, a lot of transfer of values, there's a lot that God wants to transfer to us as a chief educator. And then He has given a responsibility to pastors, to men of God, to educate the congregation so that there is a transfer of value, there's a transfer of positive knowledge, there's a transfer of moral standards that build the congregation into better and helpful people, for the building of a positive society, a good society to live in. And I would say here that there also pastors, men of God, women of God should be very, very intentional. We are living in a society where the standards, moral standards they are falling very rapidly. And if we don't do something as men of God, as pastors, as women of God, to deliberately educate our congregations according to godly standards, then we are also failing there. We are living in the times when the Bible says evil will abound and the love of many will grow cold. We are seeing it all around us. The things we hear happening in secondary schools, the things we see happening in the society. It says that we have to be more, we have to step up with our assignment to transfer moral values to the society, to transfer the fear of God, the knowledge of God. Since education is also the transfer of knowledge, let us transfer the knowledge of God and the knowledge of the precepts of God, the statutes of God, the commands of God, so that we also transfer those values that will make our society a better place to live in. Thank you so much for being with us through this program, and may God bless you.